To Rise with Hope for Hope Sheds Light. My name is Heather Price, and I'm the volunteer coordinator, outreach coordinator, and also a person in long-term recovery. Thank you so much for signing in today. I wanted to share with you some of the things that Hope Sheds Light is doing right now. We are completely virtual, so that means that all of our programs and services are online, and we have access codes for Zoom. So today we have Tai Chi at 10, and at 1 o'clock we have Paint Your Feelings. Maddie and I will be painting a little project for Mother's Day. Mondays we have programs and services for children, for our youth. We have a fitness class at 4, and at 5 p.m. we have a performing arts class. On Wednesdays we have Wellness Wednesdays, and remember that we have our family meetings every Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. We also have recovery support services as well. So if you are interested in getting that support from a recovery specialist, please call us at 855-850-HOPE. You can call us anytime, 24/7. There'll be a trained volunteer to answer your call. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about, out of my Breathe magazine, of course, this is the Stress Less special, which this week, I kind of needed that. It was a little bit of a rough week for me, just emotionally. I had difficulty sleeping. My anxiety was a little bit high. I was a little bit more worried about things. I had a hard time focusing and engaging with my children. So I thought it was important for me to share with you some practical ways to recognize yourself slipping out of balance. And when life tips out of balance, what do? So in the Breathe magazine, it says, in the rush of modern day life, it's easy to push aside small concerns and fail to notice you're no longer your old happy self. But it's important to pay attention to life's gradual changes to keep your mind well and stop your life from spinning out of control. And sometimes it feels like that. It feels like life is spinning out of control. But I have to remember that, my feelings are not facts. And I'm doing better than I think I am. My sponsor tells me that all the time. You're doing much better than you feel, Heather. So I have to remember those things that are suggested to me, because sometimes I do feel like my anxiety is too much and I want to give up, but I do my best to move forward. So it says, don't you love the effortless feeling of flow? The times when life unfolds with ease and you experience a clarity of mind and levels of energy that fill you with what seems like a permanent sense of optimism and inspiration. I often wish I could bottle that feeling and put it off the shelf when life seems more of an uphill struggle. It's curious, though, how difficult it is to notice yourself drifting away from the happy home. How can it take you to realize that your life is out of balance and, in fact, you're not very well at all? In some ways, it's like the process of aging, and we all know how much fun that is. Day to day, glances in the mirror tend to not to reveal the continual but subtle transformations that come along with growing older. Then one day, you're suddenly shocked by your reflection and need to look at a photo from your youth to become aware of the change. Luckily, however, mental rejuvenation and re-inspiration happen all the time. So is there a way to recognize before you hit crisis point that your life is tipping out of balance? And what can you do to realign yourself? These questions often come from highly committed people who give life their all, yet still feel an underlying sense of inadequacy because they do not perceive themselves as the ideal partner, parent, or professional. They feel failure. And sometimes that is a valid feeling. Sometimes I do feel that like I have failed. But in reality, I know I haven't. So it's all in my thinking and my perspective. So zooming out, humans are the only species capable of placing ideas and events in larger context. This skill is like zooming out of a camera lens. It enables you to devote yourself to, say, parenting, postpone gratification, and reinterpret elements of hardship as parts of a bigger, more worthwhile picture. Changing nappies, for example, is no big deal when you know and appreciate the importance of parenting. People are capable of feeling joy and finding meaning in the smallest moments, but they're equally capable of elevating other moments into a large, more significant frame. Mistakes, for example, can offer huge opportunities for new insights. And I sure have made quite a bit of mistakes, but luckily I have learned from almost every one of them. Intriguingly, it can be find difficult to use this zoom mechanism through which people perceive what's going on for themselves and the world around them on a very regular basis. This is especially so when you are feeling anxious or stressed. People incline towards seeing only one thing or the other. It can help enormously to make a habit of stepping back and seeing the bigger picture, reminding yourself of what's really important. So busy, busy, busy. Today's modern, often urbanized environment has a lot to answer for in masking people's ability to notice when things are starting to tip out of balance, and they are beginning to feel unwell. The constant stimulation of senses and sheer mental overload it brings has become an inescapable fact of life, and it's a situation that's accelerating. It's up to you, therefore, to learn to disconnect, to rest, and digest the volume of information and stimuli that comes your way. It has become a necessity for anyone trying to lead the gracious, more balanced life of which we are all capable. So change is only constant. Although the Greek philosopher Heracles spoke these wise words, change is the only thing constant. Some 2,500 years ago, it can still take a lifetime to come to terms with this fact. Life, and consequently individuals' lives, can be described as a constant process that takes place both in the body and in relationships. People need to find individual ways to wake up to and notice this process of change as it takes place, without buying into the bullying cult of permanent happiness. Joy is a fabulous feeling, but you are blessed with the ability to feel so much more. Anger, revolution, fear, grief, and lust. These feelings help you to become wise and compassionate, and ultimately to experience life as meaningful. Denying their presence by sweeping them under the carpet becomes counterproductive, which leads to insecurity and brittleness in the long term. Being committed to raising your own self-awareness of how you are doing your life requires courage. The courage to acknowledge the less comfortable feelings as they arise, and the awareness not to turn a blind eye to them. They are as important as feelings of happiness. They also need your attention. By allowing all these different guests, as the mystic poet Rumi calls them, to take place at your table, gives you the opportunity to develop compassion, tolerance of the inevitable discomfort, and ultimately resilience, and hopefully to keep your life in balance. So some of the things that I do, which I have mentioned before, is I, read my Just for Today. I cross-reference it in my basic text. I write a gratitude list every morning. I also have been very committed. I recommitted myself to my yoga practice. So several times a week before I start the day, I spend 2 hours doing yoga. I also make an effort to run on those days that I don't do yoga. That helps me to clear my mind, to move away from the negative thoughts, to center myself and to ground myself. So some of the practical ways to recognize that you're slipping out of balance is making that commitment. Perhaps the place to start is to make a commitment to yourself. That will make time and practice listening to your inner process, as well as how to relate to others. Cultivate a way of listening and hearing that is kind and generous to yourself, as well as curious and open. Stay present, however painful, and try to suspend judgment. Paradoxically, by accepting our vulnerability as a permanent fixture rather than something we need to work through at the top speed, we become stronger and our lives become more deeply satisfying. So just knowing what state you're in will strengthen you. And that's like the beautiful thing, is that we have some self-awareness. We're aware of our feelings. I know for me, like I can interpret, the feeling of sadness, the feeling of anxiousness, fear, hope, joy. If I didn't go through all of these feelings, I really wouldn't know what to do with them. And sometimes I have to sit through them because, as they say, like, this too shall pass. Even the feelings of joy and happiness, they pass as well. So another part is learn to direct your attention. The quality of your life is directly connected with your ability to pay attention. For all the good that has brought the online revolution has severely eroded many people's attention span. And it is difficult. Right now we're very focused on doing a lot of things virtually through Zoom. There's some days that, like, I'm on the computer all the time. I'm working on my daughter's homework. I'm working. So some of these things we can do to change that overwhelming feeling is avoid multitasking and attend to one thing at a time. Consciously disconnect and redirect your attention when needed. Develop a skill or hobby and allow yourself to get totally absorbed by it. And learn how to meditate. However you choose to strengthen your attention muscle, it will sharpen your ability to notice what is going on with your well-being. Connect with your body. Our bodies are very accurately keep score of how we are. This is a fact. You can learn to read and hear its subtle stirrings without having to wait for its cries of despair. Do a regular body scan or practice yoga or martial arts. Walking is another way to connect with your wider world, the healing power of nature with your body. Staying attuned while moving will be very revealing. Remember to leave your mobile at home. Connect with your mind. Conservative estimates tell us we have 40,000 thoughts a day, with 75% of them being negative. We are predisposed to seek out the bad. By focusing effectively on danger, we have managed to stay safe and evolve through millions of years. The thing is that our environment is not as dangerous as it was, but our brains have not got out of that habit. And what you focus on is what you get. The thing is that we seek out good news, dismiss futile negative thoughts, and make firm decisions about the quality of thought you'll commit to, because it will keep you buoyant and aware of times when it is more difficult to ignore negative ruminations. And this might just be telling you something. And finally, connect with other people. Pick up the phone. Call your friends. Call your family members. Even the most introverted of us need to interact with other people. We are interdependent as a species. Each exchange with another, even the person behind the till at the supermarket, will change us and we them. Notice the quality of your interactions with others. These can be very telling. Crabbiness, poor listening, and lack of generosity can tell me when I'm slipping. I know that that is a sure sign that I am slipping. If I'm short-tempered, aggravated, and anxious, I'm typically more easily to, be angry with my kids or, not respond in a loving and caring way. Investing in this form of self-exploration is liberating. The less at the mercy of our unbridled feelings we are, the better. Remain ever curious and accept what you see, whether the quality of your sleep or your physical agility is affected, or that your thoughts and interactions are less positive. So, when my life feels like I'm out of balance and anxieties are high, I do practice, positivity. I practice good thoughts, because those negative things do come in. Those negative thoughts could take over my day. And, I find that it's important for me, even on those days that I feel that way, to continue to practice everything I mentioned for myself. Like I said, like yoga, meditation, the Tai Chi. We have all of those here virtually on Hope Sheds Light right now. I practice them as well at home. Getting outside. Today's going to be a beautiful day. It's sunny out. The parks are open, and go for that walk. I also want to just read one more thing to you guys, and this is something that I find on Facebook, and it was some May goals. So I wrote them down. To go even kinder on my heart, because this time in our history feels as it's the strangest so far. To look into people's eyes and value smart expressions of connection we all have as treasure. To continue to support our key workers as they continue to save the world. To not hold myself back, because life is to be fully lived in, even in lockdown. To not hold my love or affection back either. To be good to the life that I have right now. To simply living it and go easy on myself, because everyone else is making it up as they go along too. To allow myself as many days off as I need, and not to feel bad on the days that I just can't give a thing. To check out the world from time to time and just focus on what makes me happy. To be kind to my body as it changes, because it is doing all that it can to keep me here. And to keep my hope nourished and fresh. So I hope you all enjoy this beautiful day. And tomorrow we'll have Steve on. Monday, Denise. Tuesday, Bev. And Wednesday is Pam. Thank you again for signing in to Hope Sheds Lights, Rise with Hope. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, everybody. With love and light.